have to. Hi, y'all. That won't work. That won't work.
You gonna take a picture?
No, but I think I'm gonna have to. If I did this.
Boy, lady, you got quite a following.
Really? Hey, that's me. Okay, let's see how it looks.
Can't wait to hear you.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to doing it. Really. Let's see what's up.
See the lady in all pink and the guy next to her? They saw you twice in New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah, and then they're going to see you. I think you were coming north.
Long gone. Good. Full moon. Probably nice and bright.
I still think the other night I seen you on the light.
Did ya? Where are you? I went out on the rest and said, can't you see? And I said, oh, there's 5 maybe.
I can see it up and go down and I see it shining down.
And it's going down. Is it coming?
Why? I
saw a light.
Just gonna do a little sound check right quick. Well, this train goes home to glory, this train. Peggy, get the drummers on. You get everything's okay? It's good? Okay. How about you? I guess there was a little woo, you know, in there from time to time, but I just figured it was you adjusting things. Okay. No problem. Lawrence, how are you? That's the tallest building. It's not my fault because I didn't mention, right? Yeah. What's going on?
Next to. Oh, it was.
No, he took the bag. Oh, this one about broken down. Big chair.
Okay. Yeah. So, we're supposed to start at 6, right? Yeah. So, and we didn't bring any, like, huh? Excuse me, hold on.
Susie, Kitty, come here. Where do you want to sit? Up here or here? I gotta ask you. Do they have boats anymore? How come I never see them? Yeah, he's on
They just combine. That's what I got to do next week.
And you don't see many fields of myself going on here.
There's many oaks anymore.
Why?
Farmers don't use it much. The Amish use the gyps. My brother sells a lot to the Amish for the horses. Like a lot of oats. They always buy a whole bunch of it every year. And they buy a wagon full at a time when they clear it out. They'll come and gyp it.
You learn something new.
Yeah. And the rye, we got the rye. That's for cover crop. In the fall, when they take the crops off, it's upside down, so the wind, it grows through the winter. Dirt can move around. Yep.
How's that? Is that good? It's off again.
Now they all make fun of 2,000 pictures. Why? Because they can do it. Well, the other day I went to soccer Monday morning. I came home that night. Now today I went back down to 319 night. And he raised it up and he said, they brought it down. Be careful.
I bought gas yesterday.
How can you tell?
Well, he's full of shit. 316. This here is a sprecher too. My girlfriend. And pray for me. She's going to take advantage of me later. Like, God damn, I hate it.
That's why you have your t-shirt on. Lucky.
How you doing?
I had back surgery in the middle of January. Instead of getting better, I've got worse. And then the other night I ended up with vertigo. Jesus Christ. I thought the mattress was hitting the floor and I grabbed the bed and I was dizzy in the mat. So my daughter, Dr. Lori, I call her, we got down to the doctor. They tip your head to the left, your eyes are going like this. And then, what else can I get in my life? I've been dead about a dozen times. And the devil been down and said, get back up there.
Probably arguing who's going to take it, so that they put it back.
She had married cousins like her. She was originally a rocket.
Here,
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine, John. How are you?
I'm a mess. That's okay.
Howdy, howdy.
I heard you're missing out on a big trip, huh? Right. Are you doing okay?
Look at that dirty old man looking at my food. I got 54 triple D. Son of a bitch, man. There's one. I got a red dress.
Showing off restrictions of women.
Oh, yeah? Look at that. Ain't I a hot looking shit? My mother never let me get a haircut until first grade and then homemade spender. Because, see, we never had any girls in our family. So when I got a daughter, my mother said, I'm not going to believe it until I change her diaper. That's, Lori, that's the birthday cake I get for ice cream. One candle. She is 58 and Danny's 60. See, when I got married, my wife was pregnant. That will get into that.
Good evening, Witwen. How y'all doing? How you doing? All right. I gotta get the technicality out of the way here. Witwen concerts are supported in part by a grant from the Sauk County Extension, Education, Arts, and Culture Committee and the Wisconsin Arts Board, with funds from the state of Wisconsin and you all, and the National Endowment of the Arts. In addition to that, we've got lots of donations that have come in from folks like you that are fans of Witwen concerts and want to see it continue. This is our 20th season, and thanks for being here. We have a tradition of passing the hat at intermission to help support us, and anything you can give at that time would be greatly appreciated. About 5 years ago, I was walking in the French Quarter in New Orleans with my wife and a few friends here, and we came upon this group of musicians playing on the street, led by what I thought was the most amazing clarinetist I'd ever heard. In fact, I would put her in the company of some of the best musicians I've ever heard. Together, Doreen and her husband Lawrence have appeared at jazz festivals in New Orleans and at music festivals, fairs, and with philharmonic orchestras throughout the United States and the world, including venues throughout Europe, South Africa, Brazil, Taiwan, and other places. You'll also find them performing up to 4 days a week on Royal Street in the French Quarter of New Orleans. So if you're ever down there, Royal and St. Peter is affectionately known as Doreens Corner. They've been playing on that corner for close to 30 years, if not more. Doreen has performed for some very notable people, as well as wherever Doreen goes, Lawrence goes. They've played for some very notable people in their musical careers. They've had the honor of playing in front of 4 U.S. presidents, including Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and George Bush Sr. In May of this year, they played to standing ovations at the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. And tonight, I can't frickin' believe it. After being canceled by COVID in 2020 when they were on our 2020 schedule, we are so proud to introduce Doreens Jazz New Orleans to Witwen, Wisconsin. Please welcome on drums, Francois, Dr. Lawrence Ketchens on sousaphone, and Dr. Doreens Ketchens on clarinet. I really hope you like this. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mike. He's awesome. We had dinner last night, and at the Dorf House. And let me tell you, when you're a musician on the road, you know, one of the first things that's accessible is McDonald's. And once you start getting older, you realize that's not all that great. So when you get an opportunity to dig into the culture through your mouth and your stomach, man, let me tell you. All right, let me go back just a little bit. And feel free to say, hey, we came to hear you play, not hear you talk. Right after this. So we flew into Minneapolis, no, where am I? Milwaukee. We flew into Milwaukee, and we got a rental car. And we had a standard rental car because I'm cheap. But we have a sousaphone. And so I asked the lady, I said, well, you see that big thing right there? We don't know if it's going to fit in the trunk. And she said, well, it should. I'm like, okay, well, if it doesn't, can I bring it back? She said, yeah. And when she looked at my license, she said, oh, I have a cousin with that name, but it's her maiden name. And I'm like, that's my maiden name. So I met Doreens, you know, and I used to think I was the only Doreen in the whole wide world when I was younger. Then I met somebody and I debunked that, but she was older than me, which took it even further. And so when I came to the realization that I wasn't the only Doreen, I was excited about meeting other Doreens. But my maiden name is Joseph, and this lady said she has a cousin named Doreen Joseph. I'm like, what the heck? You know? I'm like, well, my dad was a humdinger, but I don't know about that Doreen. You know? So anyway, since I had the same name as her cousin, she upgraded us to an SUV. Thank you, God. It's so cool. So we got the SUV, and the sousaphone fit, and we're off to see the wizard, you know, and in this case it was Mike, you know, here. And we got as close as, and I don't remember the name of the place, but Delfield. And the truck, you know, started bouncing up and down, and the engine light came on, and then it started blinking and making noise, and I'm like, okay, we'll stop here. So we stopped there, and I called him up, and the guy said, well, there is another company that will give you another car, but it's not a big enough car. In order to get a big enough car, you have to go back to Milwaukee. I'm like, well, the car barely made it here. I don't know if it'll make it back to Milwaukee, but it did. It made it. When we got close to the airport, it started doing that thing again, but we drove it in, and we got an even bigger car, and here we are. So we were like an hour and a half late, which was cool. You know, we didn't know it, but it was cool because the Dorf House had an hour and a half wait. So we got there, and yeah, man, it was the fish fry, and my husband can't eat seafood, so he got this smoked chop. Oh my goodness gracious. It melted in my mouth. It was awesome. And the fish fry was really good too. I mean, honestly, it was really good then, but we couldn't eat everything. So this morning I had it for breakfast. It was cold, and it was good. It was really good. So thank you, Dorf House. Thank you, Mike. You know, you're amazing. And thank you guys for being here. And thanks for listening to that story. You know, but we're going to play now. And we are Doreens Jazz New Orleans. And I talk a lot and, but I promise you'll learn something in the meantime, and not just of our journeys. So we always start with a spiritual, and this is no exception. And I know we did a sound check on this train, but we're going to play one of my favorite sound checks, which is Lord, 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 you've sure been good to me, and start it off. So thank you all again so very much. All the best. He's Thank you very much. So that's our interpretation of the music. I mean, it's like anything else, you know, you can go through the audience and you ask anybody to sing like Mary Had a Little Lamb, you know, be the same song, be a little different interpretation. So, you know, that's our stuff. We're gonna, oh, thanks, that's so cool. And I'm sure, you know, if, I mean, we're starting on a high note, you know, because you're happy to see us and, you know, you like what you hear. I don't think there's going to be anything you don't like, but I'm just saying. Thank you so very much for coming out, and thank you, God, for holding off the weather. And it's just absolutely fabulous. Some of you may think it's a little warm. It ain't. You might even think it's a little humid. It really ain't. So we're very comfortable and, you know, feel very welcomed by you that are here now, by the people we met since we've, you know, actually flew into Milwaukee. And along the way, we went to Piggly Wiggly this afternoon. And it's like church, you know, going to Piggly Wiggly. You know, you say hello to a stranger, and 5 minutes later, you know, you're buddies. And it's so cool, because that's how it is at home, you know. I mean, it's just, man, you know. And sometimes, I mean, because I meet a lot of people, and I don't really remember names as much as I remember faces. And, you know, so, you know, people will see me after a few months or something and be like, Doreen, I'll be, hi, how are you? And my daughter picked up on it, you know, and she was like, she'll wait until everything's done, and she'll be like, okay, Ma, who was that? Where do you know him from? Like, I don't know, but I mean, hey, we've connected. But anyway, we're going to do next, When You Smiling. And, you know, there are a lot of segues here, you know, like you're smiling, I'm smiling. But I talk so much that I hope we get at least 5 songs in tonight. Here we go. Yes, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. How when you're laughing, yes, when you're laughing, well, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, stop that sign. I'll be happy again, just keep on smiling. 'Cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. How when you're smiling, yes, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. How when you're laughing, well, keep on laughing. On the sun is sure to come shining through. Oh, when you're crying, baby, you bring on the rain. Stop me sighing. Be happy again, just keep on smiling. Cause when you're smiling, baby, the whole world will smile with, the whole world will smile with, that whole world smile with you. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. So next up, we're gonna do a little edumacation. And I'm gonna explain to you a little bit about some of the many cultural things we do in New Orleans. And one of the more popular cultural things is a jazz funeral. Now, how many of you have ever heard of a jazz funeral? Yeah, see, it's popular, like I said, you know, that's, yeah. All right, anyway, I was trying to be funny, and sometimes when it's not really that funny, I can say I was trying to be funny, and I'll get a laugh, you know. So thank you very much. Now, in order to have a successful, top-of-the-line jazz funeral, you need a deceased. But once you get past that deceased part, no volunteers, please. Once you get past that deceased part, you need plenty of spectators like yourselves. A brass band about 3 times the size of this one, and a bereaved family. Now, the jazz funeral officially begins when the band captain sees the casket coming out of the church or funeral home or wherever the services are being held. When he sees this, he signals the band to play what is called a dirge. Translation of a dirge, a slow, tear-jerking song. And it's always, always a spiritual. For this, we're going to do a tune entitled, Just a Closer Walk with Thee. Now, this is what it looks like in the middle of the street. You have the funeral director's car, the band, the hearse, the family cars, and spectators all around. And so, the spectators that are all around, they're gathered and they're quiet. They're muddling a little bit, you know, but they're very respectful because there's a service going on in the middle, in the building. And, you know, chilling, and everything's quiet until the doors open to that building. Well, once the doors open, then the band starts to play this dirge, this slow, tear-jerking spiritual. And they'll play that song well into the pallbearers bringing the casket out and loading it into the hearse. Now, once the doors close to that hearse and people get in their respective places, then the band starts to do a march, a slow, somber march from side to side. And it looks like this. Thanks, fellas. Now this is called the first line. And the first line is for the bereaved family to express their grief at the loss of their loved one. Now this goes on for about 5 or 6 blocks, depending of course on the popularity of the deceased. You see, if the deceased was a very popular person, then more spectators will turn out, and so the band will elongate the procession just a little bit so everybody get an eye and an earful. But however long that procession is, there's a point of separation. It's in the middle of the street. And what happens at that point is the band splits into 2, half on one side of the street, half on the other side of the street, forming sort of a gateway for the hearse and the rest of the family cars to pass through. Once the last family car passes the trumpet player, he gives off a call like this. And that's what the spectators do. And ladies and gentlemen, you are the spectators. Everybody got the lyrics? All right, let's try it right quick. Hey! Now, I must admit, the hands going up in the air was awesome. But the hey, it wasn't all that. And I'm going to tell you why it wasn't all that. It wasn't all that because that hey signifies that the time for bereavement is over. And it's now time for you to rejoice because that loved one has gone on to a better place or a warmer place, depending on what kind of person you were. So when you hear that call, you can't just say, hey. When you hear that call, you got to say, hey! Because with that call, you're waking the dead. You're changing the mood from sad to happy. You're changing the situation from respectful to let's partake. So with that in mind, can we try it again, please? Oh, I love y'all. That was absolutely awesome. Thank you. That was grand. Now with that, the hearse, the family car, and the funeral directors, they go off in a different direction, off to the cemetery. And what's left in the middle of the street is the band and the spectators. And then begins a very popular song. It's not always the same song, but we're going to do the Joe Avery Blues. Begins the second line, and that's when you see people dancing in the streets with umbrellas and handkerchiefs, having a good time. But before we dance and party in the streets, we have to pay our respects to the deceased. And we do that with the first line, and in this case, it's entitled Just a Closer Walk with Thee. So here we go. So now, thank you. The first line is over. The hearse and the family car, funeral director, they're off to the cemetery. And the band and the spectators, they're in the middle of the street, watching them go by. Very respectful, quiet, but anxious, ready to partake. But no one wants to be the first to yell and scream in the middle of a funeral. And that's why you got the trumpet player. Are y'all ready? Happens more than once. Here we go. Come on and deal that second line. Well, deal it right on time. Let's deal that second line. We're gonna shake our bodies all night long. Well, deal that second line. Come on and deal that second line. Well, deal it right on time. Let's deal that second line. We're gonna shake our bodies all night long. Oh, I forgot something. Hold on. I had to stop the music. Because I got to tell you something. Great dancing, by the way. Absolutely fabulous. Now, remember I said that there was a point of separation in the middle of the street between the first line and the second line, where the band split into two? Well, that's now. And that's because people are buried in such faraway places, now. But back in the 1800s and stuff like that, early 1900s, the point of separation was at the gravesite. You see, because most of the people that died in the city were buried in the city. And if you've ever visited New Orleans, one of the big tourist attractions is our cemeteries, because we're buried like above ground in these little houses, And the reason is because we're already 6 feet below sea level, I mean, when the boats pass, you see them up there, it's really crazy, I mean, we were born there and raised there, so we were used to that. And it wasn't until I went to Savannah, Georgia, and the boats were like right there, and I'm like, whoa, But anyway, so, they have to bury, people above ground downtown, because otherwise, you wouldn't want to visit New Orleans. Yeah. So, but what would happen is, the band would do that slow dirge, all the way to the block of the cemetery. And then the music would stop, and then they would walk in to the gates of the cemetery, and they would stand around the gravesite. And when they got there, there'd already be a minister there, and he'd be at the gravesite already, ready to do a short sermon, and it better be short. So he'd do his little sermon, and they'd say, ashes to ashes and dust to dust, and he would lower that casket into the ground. And as they were lowering that casket into the ground, they would release doves in the air. And that was to symbolize that even though that body, that flesh, is going into the ground, the soul, the spirit of that person is rising into the heavens. Isn't that cool? Yeah. I thought so too. So that was all good until the Depression happened. And doves, they got really expensive. And if you ain't had no meat, they were pretty tasty too. So they replaced the doves with handkerchiefs. And that's why you see people waving handkerchiefs up in the air, so, still that kind of thing. Now, the second line, as we know it, and we're going to finish off with the second line, of course, but, it's not just the celebration after a funeral. It's actually the celebration after an event. So if you go to New Orleans now, on like a Saturday or Friday afternoon, you'll hear the second line band coming up the streets, and you'll see all the handkerchiefs and stuff like that. But behind them will be a bride and groom. You know what I mean? Because that's like the new way of getting married. So, you see these girls in these very expensive gowns parading along the dirty streets. But it's still beautiful. The gown ain't so beautiful afterwards, but it's still a beautiful thing. So we're going to do this, we're going to finish up this second line like we're coming out of the cemetery, all right? So that hay is going to happen some more. So, and it's supposed to get better, not, it's supposed to be like fine wine, get better as it goes on. And so if you do it really well, I'll give you something special at the end. So here we go. That was really good, man. Y'all were excellent. That was grand. And you see, you don't see what we see, because we see the hands in the air and everything. It's just so cool. Wish I had like a camera over here, because it was just like, y'all are the bomb, man. Oh, thank you. That's my cousin. I mean, in case you guys in the back didn't hear it, I said, y'all are the bomb, and she said, you're the bomb. Isn't that cool? Well, So that's the second line thing, and you heard it from me, so it's the truth. You can share that with people. I mean, one of these days when we're rich and famous, because people say, "Oh, Doreen, you're famous." Like, okay, cool. One more step. So we're rich and famous, and I don't know, when something like the Super Bowl is going on, and they stop everything, and they put us on the TV. You can lean back in your recliner and tell your children and grandchildren, "Oh yeah, it's Doreen and them." Yeah, we work together at Witwen, and I was good. Thank you. So next up, we're going to do a tune requested by Mr. Francois here, entitled "There'll Be Some Changes Made." So here we go. We're not very obvious, are we? The thing is, we got rules to follow, so, because I can talk and play all night. I'll tell you now. All right, here we go, y'all. There'll be a change in the weather, change in the sea. From now on, there'll be a change in me. My walk will be different, my talk and my name. Nothing about me, darling, will be the same. Change my way of living, and if that ain't enough, I'll leave it choice the way I stuck my stomach. Cause nobody wants you when you're old and green. There'll be some changes made to you, darling. There'll be some changes made. So next up, we're going to do something you've probably heard before. Tune entitled Summertime. And in case you're wondering, we didn't bring any like t-shirts and CDs and stuff like that. But we do have, an online thing, and you can go there and you can order whatever you want, and we'll send it right to your door. Yeah.
What's the website?
Oh, yes, indeed. Are you kidding me? You sure would. The website is www.doreensjazz.org. And, or you could just put Doreen Catchings and it'll show up. Or Queen Clarinet, It'll get there. You'll get there. And you'd be surprised at the things we got cups and, shirts and hats and CDs. Oh boy. You take a CD home and we'll play your favorite song all night long. And you see, the thing about a CD is you can put it on and you can put it on loud and you can sing along, and whether you're on key or off key, it won't make a difference. Nobody will complain. So just keep that in mind. If I were a better business person, I'd have some flyers or something, huh? Make you remember everything. But, you guys are great. I know you'll remember. And if not, just, like I said. Call Mike. The wonderful wizard, yes, indeed. I don't know if y'all got a chance to hang out with Mike, since you've known him or not, but he all right, man.
We had to live with him.
Oh, my goodness.
Right, Kitty?
Mike is cool. Let me tell you, a dude is cool when you walk in the joint and he greets you, says, "Oh, it's so great to have you here." And then he says, "Would you like something to drink?" I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? And then, after you get over that, he says, "What would you like to eat?" Friend for life. I don't know about y'all, but he's my friend for life. And then the food was good. Because, all right, I'm sure you've had these experiences before where you go and, you think you're going to eat something really good and it ain't all that great. Yeah. But you got to put on a good face and, well, that wasn't the case. Man, that Dorf house, goodness gracious. If we weren't here right now, we'd be there. I kid you not. Some great stuff. You guys are very fortunate, very blessed. Man, that's a great place. And it was crowded too. And this isn't even a Dorf House commercial. So here we go with Summertime. All the living is easy. Fish are free, and the cotton is high. Your town is rich, on your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. Until that morning, you know there's nothing can harm you. No, no, no. You're Donny and Molly, starting my heart. darling, all the living is easy. Yes, fish all pain, and the heart's in his heart. Your heart is rich on your mama's good looking. So, horse little baby, don't you cry. Well, cause when it's morning, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, you know there's nothing can harm you. No, no, no. You're down here lonely, starting behind. Thank you. Now, as you can probably guess, I'm pretty religious. Grew up in church, but that would take the next hour. But, you know, I mentioned church. We always start with a spiritual and Piggly Wiggly being like church. Well, it's now time for intermission. And yes, the intermission kind of has some church elements. Meaning the passing of the hat. Oh boy. You know, there are some things that go along with, emotionally, with, you know, the passing of the hat. You know, when I was a kid, you know, I used to duck the hat, you know. Some kids used to try and take things out of the hat. I was like, oh my God. I just couldn't do that, you know what I mean? My mom told me a long time ago, she said, God is always watching you. Man, I ain't gonna tell you how old I am now, but I still hear that. And emotionally, when the hat comes around now, me being an adult and, you know, being so fortunate, you know, I'm not intimidated at all. I'm trying to show myself up sometimes, you know. Like, yeah, I did it. I put that big bill in there. I'll do it again. You know, you might be thinking I'm trying to entice you, but it's not. This is my thought process. I kid you not. But it is now intermission time, so we're going to give you a break from my stories. And Mike's going to come up, or somebody's going to come up, and you're going to pass the hat, and, you know, you're going to make sure that this lives on for your children and grandchildren, because it's a wonderful thing. And believe me, I'm the performer, and, you know, I'm feeling it. I'm just, you know, feeling the love and, you know, the camaraderie. It is just wonderful. And I'm not just saying that, you know, it's just how I am, you know. You know, when I play, I'm emotional, and when I talk, I'm emotional, and, you know, when I reminisce, I'm emotional too. So you see, when I think back upon this concert, even though it's really good now, it'll be even greater. I mean, really, you know. So, okay, here we go. We're going to take a little break and be right back at you. And thank you so very much for so far.
Played jazz on the sousaphone.
Hi. I saw my cousin.
Hey folks, I want to let you know there's lots of food left at the Middleton barbecue stand, so if anybody would like something, they've got plenty of food.
I made my almost around
After a while, quite a while go by what's called a boat. I see a new house up over there. Yeah, I seen that. I seen all the streets and stuff.
Right answer when it's like, I know.
Folks, if you have a blue Honda parked over by the driveway, license plate AFR 7005, could you meet me at your car, please? With your keys.
There were Well, the scene got in, but too much competition and the drive. Yeah, but it was done elsewhere. But I mean, since the rain now, it's going to change. The state.
Front row you ended up with, huh?
Big dog.
You know, you got your front row seat.
Start going crazy. She doesn't wait for half an hour. Pulling around. Like, we got over here. Like, this is our first. I've never read that. How did they do that? Actually, I have heard.
They played that. I was like, it's such a popular song. What's the name? Great song.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, it's just What is it? Our 50 and 7 cents?
Must be, because, yeah.
Someone said that. I thought it was only 3. Well, I know that for example, but not Sock City. Sock City is a line. But Kurt Sack of an
Jazz New
Like a puzzle with the band. You go on one way, you gotta go back. How long was it to He flex the car and switch over to his guys.
So anyway, Craig's wife went out and bought an electric car. You know, she goes to Madison every day to marry her. They haven't got charging stations. That's what he's got in their garage. So this afternoon she brought her car up here. Well, she's been using it.
Okay. That break was a little longer than we expected. So we're gonna have to make up for it. And I got to meet a few people and a few clarinet cousins. That was absolutely wonderful. We're gonna play a few more songs, and I want to say thank you guys again so very much for being here. There are a lot of other things going on, you know, in different places. And the reason we saw so many bikers is because it's the 120th. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, man, it all started here. Yeah, that Harley Davidson thing, you know. On our way here, we're like, man, there are a lot of bikers on the road here. I'm like, goodness gracious. I mean, like crazy, like a whole bunch. And when you don't know what's going on, you know, you're like, okay, I'm out of the loop. I don't understand. I mean, everywhere. They were everywhere. It's fascinating. I was really, you know, now I understand, and it's like, cool, you know. So here we go with, I don't remember. Hold on.
Worked so good to show up late. I said, profile shot of a clarinet player almost better than straight up.
Okay, so we're going to do something that, well, I've never been any place in the world, including like Asia and, Brazil, where people didn't know this song. And it's I'll Fly Away. So we're going to do it. And, you know, if you want to sing along, it's fine. It feels wonderful. Even if you're slightly off key or off rhythm, this song, you know, it's very, you know, adaptive. It allows for that kind of stuff. If you're on point, then that's great too. So here we go, y'all, with I'll Fly Away. Thank you very much. And I was trying to think of whether or not I was going to give you another cultural, lesson. You sure? Okay. So we have this other tradition, and I'll try to make it quick, called the Mardi Gras Indians. And this is a thing where these guys, they dress up in these beautiful costumes with ostrich feathers and, multiple colors and little bitty tiny beads that are sewed in with dental floss, like millions of beads and just big, beautiful tapestries and stuff like that. Well, this tradition started out way back in slavery days. You see, back then, so some slaves, they would plan for months and years, their escape. But some of them, they'd seize the moment. The moment happened and boom, they seize the moment. And, they run from the south to get up north and It was real hard and arduous journey, and lots of them didn't make it, but lots of them did. And the reason many of them made it was because they would run into these Native American Indians. And these Native American Indians would take them in. They'd usually be battered and bruised, and they would nurse them back to health. They would show them how to make shoes for their feet and show them how to forage for food. Little easy things like, taking a fallen tree log or something like that and just rolling it over and eating the insects, under there. They would show them the different vegetation, which was poisonous, which was medicinal, things that they could eat and stuff like that. And they'd show them how to make forage for fish, like make a pole and stuff like that for fish. And one of the main things they taught them was the road to freedom, you see, so they could go more directly. And because of those Native American Indians, many of those former slaves made it to freedom. And they did not forget the Indians. They would tell their children and their grandchildren how the Native American Indians helped them to make it to freedom. So we have this tradition in New Orleans that's called the Mardi Gras Indians, and they parade twice a year. They parade on Mardi Gras Day, and they parade on St. Joseph's Day, which is March 19th, which is also Lawrence's birthday. And, if I had thought about it, I would have brought you some flyers so you could see, but you could just look up Mardi Gras Indians and you'll be amazed. These guys, they sew the suits themselves. So, and they're pretty arrogant too. So they not only do they have big, beautiful ostrich feathers in many colors, but they have these tapestries on their chest and on their pelvis. And these tapestries, like I said, they're three-dimensional. They're made. They draw on them first, they draw whatever picture they want to, and then they sew these tiny beads on there and make these beautiful, beautiful, symbols of themselves because they made the suit. So if he was a warrior, or something like that, then he had pictures of him, and in battle. If he was a fisherman or a chef or a doctor or anything else like that. And the Mardi Gras Indians, they're in tribes. So you have the chief, you have his squaw, which is the queen, you have the medicine man, you have, which is the doctor. You have the witch doctor, which is the weatherman, and you have all of these different people. You have the spy boy, you have the flag boy, and it's all around, when they parade, the saying is, we won't bow down. So Indian tribes, they march on the street and they don't stop for traffic. Traffic stops for them. The only thing Mardi Gras Indian tribes stop for when they're in parade mode is another Indian tribe or a train. That's it. Because trains, they take a while to stop, so ain't nobody crazy. All right, so when they meet, and this is how it used to be, when the Mardi Gras Indian tribes meet, and the reason they know they're about to meet is because you have your spy boy and your flag boy. You see, your spy boy, he's the athlete of the tribe. He runs out maybe 6 or 5 or 6 blocks ahead of the tribe, and he's scouting for feathers, you see? And if he sees some feathers, then he's going to count and see how many feathers there are and, what the tribe looks like, how big it is, how small it is, or something like that. And then he's going to flag to the flag boy. Now, he's going to give signals to the flag boy. And the flag boy is between the spy boy and the Indian chief. And the flag boy is going to read whatever he says, and he's going to take it back to the chief. And so the chief will know just from the spy boy, who is a half a mile away almost sometimes, that there's an Indian tribe coming. They're coming from the east. They're about 50 deep, and all this other stuff is absolutely fabulous. Well, the reason he needs to know that is because what they used to do is when Indian tribes meet, they would do battle. And these wouldn't be symbolic battles. These would be real battles. They would have guns and knives and chains, and they would actually, after spending all that time making the suit, they would actually fight and get them all bloodied up and stuff. And it was just horrible. And lots of wives and stuff would be home worried because their husbands would be out there masking as Indians. Well, this all went on for a long time until this big, well-known, well-loved Indian chief named Tootie Montana, he brought all of the chiefs together. And they made a pact that instead of fighting, because it's such a wonderful tradition, they would do symbolic wars, symbolic battles. So nowadays, when you see two Indian tribes meet, it's an absolute thing of beauty. they do now it's very aggressive. They're very aggressive. You know, they talk about each other and stuff like that, and they do a lot of waving of the hands and stuff like that. But they only touch each other at the end, and it's to hug. It is so wonderful and heartwarming. It's absolutely beautiful. So if you ever get a chance to see that, of course, technology, you could see it like as soon as you look it up on YouTube. But it's wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful. But now you know what you're looking at. You see what I'm saying? Well, they have their own language, their own music, and we're going to do something called Mardi Gras Aiko. This song was made famous back in the 60s by a musical group called the Dixie Cups. And so, they have their own language, and this one's called Mardi Gras Aiko. And if you don't mind, I'd love to do some audience participation. How many of y'all can say "eh nah"? So I'll say, let me hear you sing "eh nah, eh nah, Aiko one day," and then you clap your hands twice like that. All right, and when you say "eh nah," all you're saying is "hey y'all, hey now," and the song, the words of the song are "Giacomo fino anane, Giacomo finane," and what it basically means is "hey y'all, hey now, here comes my big chief, get the heck out of the way." So here we go, y'all. We're about to do Aiko together. Here we go. Well, I see that girl all dressed in red. I go one day. Oh, I bet you $5 she'll kill you dead. Jockey won't be not there. Well, my look of my king all dressed in green. I go one day. Oh, it's the cutest you've ever seen. Jockey won't be not there. Let me hear you sing, and now, and now. I go one day. Jockey won't be no harm not there. Jockey won't be not there. Let me hear you sing. There. And thank you very much. Yes, indeed. I'm so spoiled, Dr. Lawrence, when it gets to singing, y'all. Well, I'm a black boy, you're black boy, sitting on the fire. All black boys on your black boy, I'm gonna set your flag on fire. And now, I go one day. Talking won't be no all night. That was great, y'all. So, I cannot believe we're almost done. But you know, you can't have a Doreens Jazz concert without hearing the House of the Rising Sun. I tell you, when we're in New Orleans, and you know we play on the street, right? Now, millions of people visit that corner all the time. And believe it or not, we get more requests for House of the Rising Sun than we get for When the Saints Go Marching In. But we play where people live. And our neighbors, you know, because we're there, right? They hear this song all the time. But they still like it, you know, and I really appreciate that because they're not requesting it. It's one of those songs too, man. It's the way it moves. I don't know. But here we go, y'all, with House of the Rising Sun. Is when he's on the drum. They're dancing the words to me. It's so cool. Oh my goodness gracious. Y'all are wonderful. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I got to stand for y'all. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. If you guys don't mind, you know, we got to end this the right way with When the Saints Go Marching In. Oh, cool. So, I'll say, oh, when the saints. You say, oh, when the saints. I say, go marching in. You say, go marching in. And then we all sing together, oh, when the saints go marching in. And then, if you don't know, oh, well, I want to be in that number, you say, oh, saints go marching in. Can we do it? Yeah. All right, let's hit it. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, well, saints go marching in. A little louder, please. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, well, How about another hand for the doctor on the sousaphone, y'all? All right. Now I see some people moving around like they want to do some kind of parade. So we're gonna do a drum solo, and I'm gonna lead this parade. And if y'all wanna follow, you go ahead on and follow. And if you got a napkin or something like that, you can do that too. But in the meantime, well, they gotta come back around. So we'll sing again. When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, well, I love being in Witwen when the saints go marching in. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you too. Thank y'all. All the best.
We gotta get back to
Doreen, wonderful.
Hey, man, I was looking for you all night. Where were you?
Right over here.
Oh, my goodness gracious, I didn't see
Great job.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Oh, awesome. You're amazing. Thank you. You know we can't go nowhere without this. oh, sweet. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye, y'all. Have a great one. Thanks for joining us. All the best. Off to Iowa now. Hopefully I can stream that too. Yeah. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you.